Oh, don't be so dramatic. That's my thing. And if you take it away from me, I will kill myself, and then you.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today is the episode we have all been waiting for, and that is part 1 of the Single Life Tell-All. Let's get into it. Okay, so we're starting things off with all of the singles and some of the not so singles making their way to the production for the tell-all. So everyone is pretty nervous, especially Veronica, because this is her first time coming to the tell-all as like a main character and not just like as a side character or just like an opinion piece situation.
It's definitely not fun to be in the hot seat.
So as nervous as Veronica is, no one is as nervous as Natalie after the production gives her a little bit of news on how the segment is gonna go.
Both Josh and Mike will be here today.
And I think Tiffany just blatantly sums up pretty much all of our feelings about Natalie.
Something about her like rubs me the wrong way. I hate saying that. She's a sweet girl, but she's just weird.
Can I get an amen up in this bitch?
And Tiffany tells us that she actually spent 4 months in South Africa with Ronald, and it doesn't seem like it made her relationship any better.
Uh-oh. My relationship with Ronald is...
I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
Debbie, who actually flew down from Canada because she's been living with Tony this whole time up there, said something that kind of leads me to believe that there might be some trouble in paradise.
How's your relationship with Tony?
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Moving out of the country is really different, and it does strain our relationship.
And then Caesar tells us that he has broken up with Alona, but it seems like he has a new person already. And then Tanya alludes to the fact that she has some news to share, so possibly a new relationship that we didn't get to see on the show.
And I have some major changes I can't wait to share.
Okay, so all 6 of them make it to set, and Sean goes around and does a little catch up with them all, where Caesar confirms that he is seeing someone new.
I wasn't holding back.
Yeah, Papa's got a brand new bag now.
Oh.
Yeah.
And also, they let Tanya know that Sinjin will actually be there, which I find interesting because Natalie, they told beforehand. They told her that Josh and Mike were going to be on the segment, but they didn't tell Tanya beforehand. I find that interesting. So Sean decides to start off with Natalie, who I think has been the most talked about person this season. Even out of Happily Ever After, she's been pretty controversial. And she tells Sean that she's actually thinking of moving from Florida to LA. And Sean asks, is that to be closer to Josh? And she says, you ask him, because she wants to see what he says. So clearly they haven't really talked about this as usual. So Sean just asks him how he feels about her moving to LA, and he says he's excited. They wouldn't be moving in together, and he does clarify he does have a house in Arizona and in LA. He has a condo. And right off, Debbie just starts getting on his bad side. You know, I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Debbie. I find her hilarious. I just do. I like her. She's being direct. She's asking questions that it's hard for him to dance around his answers.
Well, because we were getting up like the next morning together, and it was everything was
I was
right
just
there.
curious.
That's a rich, meaty, juicy answer. Thank you.
Same time, what is the state of your relationship?
I think that we're talking a lot more. I think our relationship is growing. I mean, I think we're seeing where this is going.
Bullshit!
Would you consider Natalie your girlfriend?
No title.
I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds!
So everyone on stage is getting frustrated with his non-answers. Veronica specifically is calling him out, saying that she plans on moving across the country and he can't even call her his girlfriend. And then Tim does give him an out.
I want her to figure out if she's done with Mike or not.
Absolutely.
Saying that he just wants her to figure out what she's doing with Mike, which is true. Like, she needs to figure that out, but I don't think that's his reason. I really think he just wants to be on the show. He wants more publicity. So with Tim saying that, that leads into Natalie saying this.
I will never divorce for a guy.
So now Natalie's in the hot seat because clearly she's holding on to Mike. So in case things don't work out with Josh or whoever else she wants to possibly date. That's the only reason she's hanging on to him. And maybe like immigration reasons too. Maybe. I've thought about that. But I mean, it shouldn't be an issue now. I wouldn't think.
Natalie, you have to pick.
I'm sorry, I need to go to... Cannot listen to you.
So, of course, you know, Natalie's getting asked some hard questions and her faults are being brought up. So, you know, she has to storm off stage like she always does. But while she is off stage, Josh starts telling them a story about how she messaged one of his employees. And it turns out he was kind of lying about how that all went down.
She's messaged my workers before. Yeah.
Say what?
And just, you know, like, don't you know I've been, you know, sleeping with your boss for like over a year.
Okay, so when Natalie gets back on stage, Sean questions her about it. And it turns out what actually happened was that he posted a reel on his Instagram about their second date. And I'm pretty sure that's the one. Yeah, that's the one she looked she was pretty drunk in. And she was drunk, she said. And he posted that on his reel, and one of his employees like reposted it and made a joke. I suppose it was a joke. We're going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that it was a joke and said this.
She said that she had better options than I did. And
What else did she say?
Okay.
oh!
So he made it seem that she was just messaging his employees for no reason other than because of her insecurities and she was acting crazy, when really she had a specific reason to message her. She wasn't just messaging someone she thought was too pretty or whatever. Like, she did it for a specific reason, whether you agree with that reason or not. You know, it wasn't because she was just being a crazy bitch. So Sean is saying that Josh is using the fact that she's still married as an excuse for them not to move this relationship forward, when in actuality he just doesn't want to. And of course he immediately says, well, no, we just haven't had enough time. We haven't had enough time to figure it out. They've been dating for over a year. You should know if you want to be with this person in a year. And he hasn't invited her to his actual home, either one, in Arizona or in LA. He's got two to pick from. Which house you want to go to? So after that, they watch a little recap of Natalie's trip to see Mike, and Natalie is stressed.
But I don't know. You know, is she thinking about us, or is she just thinking about herself?
So after seeing that, Josh seems kind of pissed, and he said he feels the same way, though I don't think he understands how Mike feels at all. And then they decide to all take a little break and go backstage.
I was hoping that we would get some clarity.
Okay, this frustrates me so much. He said he wanted clarity. He did not fully answer one question on that stage. Every single answer he danced around, gave the politician answer. And he expected clarity when he couldn't give anything clear?
As much as I dislike the lady with red hair.
Listen, there are a lot of reasons to dislike Debbie. I totally get that. Like I said, I just find her funny. But he just doesn't like her because she was calling him on his shit. Like, if we're being 100% honest, that was all. Okay, so after the quick break, they come back and Sean decides to start with Veronica. So I haven't made a video on Veronica this season because honestly, I just didn't find it that interesting. I enjoyed watching her parts. I just didn't find it interesting enough to talk about. A little bit, the tell-all is a little bit more interesting. A little bit, but not that much. But I do hope she finds love, and I'm very interested though to find out who she's dating. And I'm not surprised that Tim doesn't like him, because who does Tim like? Tim doesn't like anybody. So of course Sean brings up Tim walking her date out the door, which was just weird. I just, like, Tim, why would you do that? Like, not only he was just hanging out waiting for them, and then he's like, yeah, well, I'll walk you to the door. Like, no. Like, get a life, dude. You have a girlfriend. Go home.
So, like, I know why he's back.
But I'm not your daughter.
Which is exactly the point, Tim. She is your ex-wife and your friend now. You don't need to do this. She is not your daughter. Okay? I wouldn't do that to any of my friends. Would, of course, I want checkups to make sure they're okay? Of course. Sure. But I'm not going to hang out and follow them and then, like, walk their date to the door. Like, no, thank you. Like, that's overstepping boundaries. And with this right here, I will say Tim is 100% right. This guy is a fuckboy.
Thanks, man. You almost look as pretty as Veronica.
Okay, so I just feel like that was saucy for no reason. Like, you dated Veronica for a minute, sir. Like, shut up. Like, you have no reason to have, like, beef towards Tim. Sure, he was rude. Yeah, but we're allowed to do that. You're not, okay? We can talk shit on Tim. You can't.
Deal with it.
Okay, so basically what happened, her and Justin were dating for a few months. They hooked up, and after they hooked up, he decides to tell her that he is more than likely moving back to Florida with his ex and their kids.
Why wait until after you slept with her?
And this is after he asked her to set boundaries with Tim, saying your ex should be your ex, yet he's moving entire states with his. So he's just hypocritical, and he's just a hypocrite, and that's really all I have to say about it, and I hope the guy she's with now is better. Okay, moving on.
Pause for now and turn our attention to one of our other singles, Tiffany.
Okay, so I'm going to give y'all just a little bit of history on Tiffany and Ronald, just because I haven't made a video on them, and it's been a little bit since we've seen them. Okay, so Tiffany was originally featured on, I believe it was 90 Days the Other Way, because her original plan was she was going to move to South Africa to be with Ronald. But when she got there, it turns out Ronald had a gambling problem, and she decided she was going to stay. She was going to love him no matter what. He went through treatment. He seemed to be doing better, and they got married, but she got pregnant very quickly, and she quickly learned that the health care and safety just isn't the same in South Africa as it is in America, and she was just scared of raising her kids there. So she decided to move back to America and go through the spousal visa process to get him over, and they've been doing long distance ever since, and they just have not been doing well. And Ronald is honestly a narcissist. In my opinion. I mean, that's not a medical opinion, it's just my opinion, and you'll see more evidence as to why just in these few short minutes. Okay, so obviously they broke up, otherwise she wouldn't be on the single life. So the beginning of this season was just her dating a couple people, and they weren't really working out. And then, of course, Ronald is just being super sweet and saying all the right things, and she still has a daughter with him who needs a relationship with her father. So she decided she's going to go to South Africa. She did not bring Daniel. She only brought Carly because she felt it might just be too confusing for him with their relationship being up in the air, and I totally support that. Plus, it was school and everything. So she goes to South Africa, and she tells us that she was actually there for 4 months, and she's back, and she still doesn't know where the relationship stands. Though I really hope they don't get back together at this point. I have been kind of rooting for them. I don't know. I saw what she saw in Ronald, but that's just what he wants you to see. at this point. I don't think that's who he is. He's just a nasty person. So Sean asked if they had agreed to start dating other people, and they had, and Ronald was actually the first one to do it.
How did you find out he had a girlfriend?
No, he posted it online.
Dumbass move.
It's like, that's a dick move right there.
Yeah. That I'm trying to fix us.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Okay, see, this is what he does. And this is so much easier for him because of the fact that they're so far away. That he messed up. He knows he messed up, so he's apologetic. I'm sorry. I know. It was me. It was all me. And he's just slowly reeling her back in. And when she's there, he does the same thing.
And still I went there, did nothing wrong, and he everything up.
Okay, if you haven't seen the episode, I want you to take a guess on what he did. For some reason, I wasn't expecting this. I don't know why. I'm not surprised. But take a guess before I tell you, or before I show you what he did. And leave it in the comments.
So 3 days later, I found out he was still talking to that ex-girlfriend and getting money from her.
I love Veronica. Like, a perfect reaction to that is just so unbelievably disgusting. So he was doing that, talking to his ex-girlfriend and getting money from her while he was saying that him and Tiffany were together.
What the hell is wrong with you, you sick bastard?
Yeah.
Oh, so you want to go?
To make yourself look good,
Oh, snap.
stole $250 to go gamble.
You are lying. Tiffany.
You want me to bring the receipts? Do I need to bring the receipts, baby girl? Because I got receipts.
Okay.
Get the out of here.
Oh.
Suck on that!
No more.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
I love how Sean is like, okay, we already had someone walk off and now someone break a camera. This is amazing. This is going to be an awesome tell-all. Okay. So that's all that happened this part 1. I will be back next week with part 2. So hopefully, I think this is going to be a 3-parter. I hope so. Like, it's already juicy and there's so much more I need to know about. Well, anyway, that's all I have for this one. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
In case I don't see ya. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.